Throughout the history of the United States, many towns have risen and fallen. Some grew thanks to planned development or unstoppable economic ambition, often at the expense of other towns, leaving them abandoned. Imagine a small town along an old highway where neon signs once lit up storefronts and the smell of coffee drifted from corner cafes. Today, the window panes are cracked, paint peels from walls, and store signs are nothing more than memories of the past. This isn't just a story from history. Across the U.S., dozens of downtowns went silent after traffic was diverted to interstate highways. The flow of cars that once powered the local economy now passes by without stopping. In this video, we'll explore a dozen towns where downtowns have been left behind, some slowly dying, others completely gone. To start our journey through abandoned towns, let's begin in Texas. In Northeast Texas sits Omaha, a small town in Morris County with a population of less than 1,000. Despite its size, the main street used to be busy with grocery stores, salons, and clothing shops. But when the main route was redirected, the flow of visitors came to an abrupt halt. The brick buildings in the downtown area are now inhabited only by wind and dust. A few local businesses that remain seem to struggle, while residents shop more frequently in nearby towns. In other parts, many homes stand empty, a clear sign that the town continues to be gradually abandoned. A few miles from Omaha, the small town of Naples faced a similar fate. The difference is that it's not the downtown that's abandoned, but certain residential areas that now look like a ghost town. Rows of houses spaced far apart appear desolate, most reduced to ruins, though the main street still sees some activity. The town currently has just over 1,000 residents. Historically, Naples grew around a station on the Texas and St. Louis Railway, built through the area in 1880. The town quickly became a shipping hub and supply center and was officially incorporated in 1919. Further north lies Marietta, a small, unincorporated community in Cass County, deep within the East Texas forests. Unlike the towns we've seen, Marietta exudes a quiet rural vibe, peaceful yet warm. With a population of only about 120 people, the town has almost no real downtown. Still, the spirit of this small community remains alive. The church and post office continue to operate, serving as the social anchors for the residents who remain. Amid the quiet, Marietta preserves a classic snapshot of an American town left behind by modernization. Next, we arrive at a town located right near the border of two states, Texas and Arkansas, and not far from major cities like Dallas. This town is Texarkana, with a population of over 30,000, far from small. Here, you can literally walk along the line that separates Texas from Arkansas. Yet, in parts of the town, the sights can be surprising. Many buildings have been abandoned, not just small shops or empty blocks. Whole multi-story structures sit empty. Ironically, Much of this happened because of the construction of Interstate 30 and bypass routes, which diverted traffic and stripped the town of its main functions. Even though independent revitalization projects, including colorful murals, are slowly bringing life back to some blocks, large areas of the downtown remain abandoned. At its peak, Texarkana was a bustling commercial hub, thanks to its strategic location as a key transportation center. But sitting at the crossroads of two states also made it vulnerable, and today, the town stands at the intersection of history and quiet decay. From Texas, the story continues southwest along the legendary Mother Road. Route 66 is dotted with small towns that slowly died after interstate highways replaced the old road. In the heart of the Mojave Desert stands Amboy, baking under the relentless sun. Once, Amboy was an important stop on Route 66. Roy's Motel and Cafe became an iconic landmark for travelers. But after Interstate 40 opened in 1973, traffic vanished overnight. Within a few years, Amboy became a ghost town. Empty streets, closed motels, and the neon sign of Roy's are the only reminders of its vibrant past. This abandonment created a surreal landscape: desolate buildings, empty structures, and scattered debris, giving the town an eerie, post-apocalyptic movie set vibe. Today, Amboy remains silent, a monument to the vanished golden era of Route 66. Back in Texas, near the dusty New Mexico border, lies a town that's almost forgotten: Glenrio. In the past, every traveler on Route 66 would stop here to refuel or rest. But once I-40 was built nearby, Glenrio died almost instantly. The old downtown is now completely abandoned. Many buildings lie in ruin. Old restaurants, motels, and service stations all stand empty. Unlike some other towns, Glenrio has no permanent residents left. Only the scattered remnants of nostalgia remain in the middle of the barren desert. Still along Route 66, the next town is Seligman, a place where life seems frozen in time. It nearly disappeared after the new Interstate 40 diverted traffic in the late 1970s. Almost overnight, shops and restaurants lost visitors. Businesses closed, buildings fell into decay, and today, the town feels like a living museum, a collection of memories from the golden era of American road travel. Unlike Amboy or Glenrio, however, Seligman's roughly 800 residents refused to give up. They formed an association known as Historic Route 66. Local barber Angel Delgadillo led efforts to preserve the town's historic character and gradually promote it as a nostalgic tourist destination. Now, though small and modest, Seligman has come back to life, offering a fresh face to the legendary road. It's proof that some towns can rise again from obscurity. Another town with a similar story in Arizona is Williams, a small town at the base of the Coconino Mountains. Williams was the last town along Route 66 bypassed by Interstate 40 in 1984. When the highway opened, the downtown area went dark almost immediately. But tourism quickly became the town's savior. The rail line to the Grand Canyon gave the local economy a new breath of life. Even so, remnants of decay remain in parts of the downtown. Old motels that once welcomed travelers now lie in ruins. Attractions like the Canyon Coaster amusement park, once a family vacation hotspot, have fallen silent. Nearby, Bedrock City, a theme park based on fantasy concepts, also succumbed to abandonment. Next, we move west along the quiet Colorado River to Needles, California. The town's name alone might hint at something sharp or unwelcome. Founded in 1883, Needles became an important stop for travelers entering California in search of opportunity during the Dust Bowl era, a real-life checkpoint for hope and survival. But after Interstate 40 opened, downtown lost its flow of tourists and commerce. One article titled "The Dying City of Needles, California" documents the town's decline. Shuttered businesses, abandoned homes, and much more. Still, Needles retains a small historic district, including a well-maintained park. Behind the scorching heat, the town preserves a haunting charm, a remnant of Route 66's storied past. It's not just small towns that felt the impact of highways. Even in the heart of big cities, freeway construction often destroyed long-standing communities. One clear example is Tulsa, Oklahoma. Known for the tragic events of 1921, Tulsa was also home to one of the most prosperous black business districts in the early 20th century, Greenwood. But after the construction of Interstate 244, the neighborhood was split in two. Dozens of blocks of homes and shops were demolished, erasing the economic legacy that had once flourished there. For decades, Greenwood languished in silence. Only a few buildings from its golden era survived. Recently, historic restoration projects have begun to restore some of the dignity to this lost community. If Greenwood shows a glimmer of revival, Detroit is often cited as the most dramatic example of how modernization can erase a city's identity. Detroit seems to wear two faces, constantly at odds with each other. In the 1950s, the construction of I-375 destroyed two historic neighborhoods, Paradise Valley and Black Bottom. Thousands of families lost their homes, and small businesses collapsed. Ironically, the area is now part of the Reconnect Detroit project, which aims to remove parts of the highway and restore the old street grid. For some, this is an effort to heal the wounds left by concrete. For others, it's a reminder of a painful past. Back in Texas, few might expect Dallas to make this list. Not because the downtown is completely abandoned, but because much of its core tells a story of decay and disruption. The biggest impact came from Interstate 345, which split the downtown area and the historic Deep Ellum district. For decades, buildings along this corridor decayed, cut off from the new economic hubs growing around them. These aren't ordinary buildings. Everything from large hospitals to giant malls now stands as symbols of urban neglect. In 2015, a movement emerged to remove I-345 and reconnect these neighborhoods. Residents hope that if the highway disappears, life could return to the abandoned blocks. Dallas now stands at a crossroads between keeping concrete as a barrier or reviving the memory and life of its old streets. From major cities that lost their communities, we move to the Rust Belt, a region where industrial glory has turned into abandoned factories and empty downtowns. The first town not to be overlooked is Flint, once the pride of General Motors. However, the collapse of the auto industry sank the downtown area. In the 1980s, GM began outsourcing production and closing plants, wiping out over 35,000 local jobs. The closures shattered communities and plunged the city into a deep economic decline. The massive shutdown of the Buick City complex in 1999 only made things worse. Although Flint isn't completely abandoned, many buildings in the former downtown sit empty, their walls covered with murals symbolizing resistance and resilience. Local universities and community groups have worked to revive creative economies, but the shadow of the past still lingers in every corner of the city. Moving to Indiana, we find a city once dubbed the most miserable city in America. Not far from Chicago, Gary was once a proud steel town. When the industry faltered, most of its workers left, leaving parts of downtown filled with empty buildings. The old city hall, historic theaters, and even large schools now stand abandoned, attracting urban exploration photographers. Major highways on the outskirts isolate the downtown further, too far for new businesses, too close for old memories to disappear. Finally, we reach Youngstown, a city with a deep history at the heart of the state's steel belt. The city once pulsed with the sound of factory machinery, but when the industry stopped, downtown lost its rhythm, earning the nickname America's Capital of Despair. Beyond physical decay, the city faces staggering social issues. By 2023, Youngstown and its surrounding areas recorded nearly double the national average in overdose deaths, 53% more suicides than the national average, 6 times the homicide rate, nearly twice the national poverty rate, and more. The Youngstown 2010 project tried to make a difference, reclaiming vacant lots and restoring old buildings. Though the city hasn't returned to its former glory, it shows that even amid ruins, life finds a way to push forward. Ultimately, interstate highways shaped modern America, connecting coast to coast, accelerating economies, and opening new territories. But beneath the shiny asphalt lies a hidden story of loss. Downtowns that once thrived now sit silent. Some attempt to revive themselves through historic tourism. Others remain quiet, leaving time as the only witness. From Amboy in the Mojave Desert to Gary on the shores of Lake Michigan, these towns remind us that progress often comes at a steep cost. Behind every new road built, there is a downtown slowly fading, raising the question, what have we truly gained if what we lose is the heart itself?